What's up, Space Pirates? This is your captain, the certifiably suave Dr. Disaster, and the review embargo for Black Myth Wukong has finally been lifted, so we are starting to get a sense of what people actually think about this game, and this seems to be the general consensus.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
At the time of this recording, Black Myth is sitting at a metacritic score of 82, which is pretty solid, especially considering that this is not an unabashedly woke game. Therefore, you just know that these activist journalists out there really want to give this a negative review. They are looking for any excuse they can to shit on this game, but the fact that they can't bring themselves to do it tells us a lot. That being said, Screen Rant did decide to give it only a 60 out of 100, along with a couple of other jackasses out there, and their primary complaint is basically them whining about the fact that there isn't any diversity in the game. But considering the state of the gaming industry and how all these terrible journalists and developers just want to pester us incessantly about diversity, considering how they won't shut up about that shit, by now, when I hear them whine and say, "Oh no, there's no diversity," my response is simply,
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, where I keep a list of woke and DEI-infected games pinned to my account at all times for your reference. My handle on the platform is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, Black Myth isn't going on that list anytime soon. I'm fairly sure I'm gonna love it when it comes out, but these games journalists hate it. And when they hate a game like this, when they have acquired a target, they will do anything to bury it, which is why we are seeing outlets like Screen Rant talking shit about the game for no damn good reason. Of course, I'm sure most of you know the real reason these dipshits in the gaming journalism circles hate Black Myth. It's because, of course, a few months ago, it came out that Game Science, the developers of the game, announced to the world that they had been approached by Sweet Baby Inc. with an offer to consult on the game. But Game Science declined because they have common sense, because they didn't see any value in Sweet Baby's value proposition. $7 million, which is what Sweet Baby allegedly asked for, is a ridiculous sum for the job of consulting on a game, especially when we're talking about a game that features a bunch of animals and shit. I mean, where's the diversity supposed to come from? Was Sweet Baby gonna go, "Oh, there's not enough platypi in the game. We don't want to upset the platypus population. We need platypus representation, so we better add some platypi to the game"? In any event, Game Science said no, and so IGN wrote a hit piece on the studio saying that they're sexist. There's no good reason given for why they're sexist, other than IGN says so, but Game Science claims this was all an extortion scheme. This was all in retaliation for the fact that they turned down Sweet Baby. Now, I don't know for sure if any of this is true, but it definitely seems like it, especially when, as the reviews start coming out, some of these reviewers are giving the game a literal perfect 100 out of 100 score. Think about that. A perfect 100. We're talking like Zelda Ocarina of Time levels of awesome here. Whereas Screen Rant gave it a 60. And the only thing they could find to whine about was a lack of diversity. they're trying to paint the game and its makers as a bunch of sexist misogynists. In other words, it's a continuation of the extortion project. You see, all these people in the gaming industry, games journalists, consultants, and activist developers, they have got a network, and they work together to make sure they have total ideological control over what happens in the gaming industry. They do everything in their power to ensure that everyone else who works with video games toes the ideological line, and when someone doesn't bend the knee to their wokeness, that game gets attacked relentlessly. They get together and essentially review bomb the game. Now, to be honest, I hate that term. I think it's a stupid, nonsense term. I'm only using the term ironically because I know that using it against these wokesters will annoy them. But they create a wall of fake hate for the game that it doesn't deserve simply because something politically rankled them. It happened last year with Hogwarts Legacy, it happened earlier this year with Stellar Blade, and it's happening now with Black Myth Wukong. They can't stand the idea of people not infesting the gaming industry with woke shit. That's also why they attacked Cabrutus Rambo so hard earlier this year. They do not like their power structure challenged. They cannot stand that something like Gamergate is allowed to persist. So, circling back around, that is why Screen Rant gave this game the score they did, because they are lashing out at someone they perceive as an enemy and review bombing them. They gave Black Myth a 60 out of 100, which is ludicrous considering how highly rated the thing is by most other outlets. But whatever, not everyone has to agree with me. If someone said they don't like a game and they gave good reasons for it, that's fine. I'd listen to them. It's all good. We're not a monolith around here. We can be free thinkers. But look at the review here. It's freaking crazy how stupid they sound. It says, while it has some exceptional features, including its visuals, combat design, and many extraordinarily exhilarating boss fights, as well as a compelling plotline, it is not enough to warrant a better score. Really? Because you basically said the game excels at pretty much everything a game is supposed to do. Combat design, boss fights, visual, story, what else is there? Was the music really that bad? Nope, that wasn't the problem. There just wasn't enough diversity in the story. It goes on to say, given that most of its shortcomings lie in performance, diversity, and wasted environmental factors that would have transformed it into something great, these are integral features that, at a fundamental level, all RPGs, especially Souls-like ones, should encompass in their content.
Ooh, nobody gives a shit!
Literally nobody cares about that shit, but games journalists and their simps. And those people don't buy games anyhow, so basically nobody that matters cares about this. They are trying desperately to play the victim here. On the Screen Rant article, an editor's note says they removed the author's name on the review for their safety. They will likely eventually claim, without showing any receipts at all mind you, that they were being victimized by people sending them violent threats, when in reality, they just can't stand when people like you and I criticize their sheer stupidity. They will do everything and anything to try to gain points with the people and to make their enemies look bad. These people are pity farmers, but I don't have any pity for these bozos. But I'm going to leave it there. What do you think about all this Black Myth Wukong stuff? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.